Did you know that our dog was diagnosed with stage 4 kidney disease almost 2 years ago? It's We were given a terminal diagnosis with only 3 to 6 months for him to live, and that was over 18 months ago. Our dog is now, he shows no signs of kidney disease in his lab results when we go to the vet, and he is healthier and happier than ever. Hi, my name is Meg of This Mess Is Ours, and today I'm going to walk you through how I make 100% human grade dog food for my dogs at home. It's all we fed them for the past 2 years. We ditched kibble as soon as we received our kidney disease diagnosis for our dog Hooch, and we haven't looked back since. When he was first diagnosed, I was heartbroken. Our whole family was just completely devastated. Hooch is with me. He's 11 years old. He's with me every day, all day. I work from home. I call him my sous chef all the time. So he really is my best friend. And the thought of being without him was just almost too much to handle. So I did what I would have done for my kids or myself with a health diagnosis like that. I started studying. I started pulling apart the things that were going into his body and what we were feeding him, what his lifestyle was like. And I started making small adjustments, and we started seeing major improvements. So before I even cook, I want to tell you that there's 3 things that you should do if your dog or your cat has been diagnosed with kidney disease. First, the most important thing you can do is to make eating and drinking easier on their kidneys. So what you want to do is provide your dog with filtered water, and you also want to provide your dog with clean, healthy food. Anything that is harder to process means the kidneys have to work harder, and that's ultimately not a good situation for your dog. So let's talk about the diet. Here's what we created. Here's the dog food recipe that I worked with my vet to create that has literally changed my dog's life. We actually just ordered all the paperwork from a complete 1.5 years of blood panels for him, just so we could have the documentation to show how all of his different levels in his blood changed with just the changing the water, editing the food that went into his diet, the ingredients that we used, and then also increasing his exercise. Okay, so this recipe is super simple. It's super basic. It starts with a grain. So here, because Hooch had kidney disease, and when we started the diet, I had to opt for a white rice. Now, for a healthy dog or a dog that's like a stage 1 kidney disease indicators, you're gonna wanna go for like a brown rice. They can tolerate that. There's more phosphorus in that rice, in the hull of the rice. But for a dog that's in like a stage 4 kidney disease diagnosis, you wanna make food as easy to process on their body as possible. So for Hooch, that means white rice. Second ingredient is eggs. These are kind of tricky. So if your dog is in an advanced kidney disease diagnosis, you may want to remove the yolks because yolks are high in phosphorus. For us, we took out every single treat Hooch had prior to his kidney disease diagnosis. Within a matter of 24 hours, we just drastically changed, and eggs are his like one thing. So I talked to my vet, and we opted to keep whole eggs in the recipe. If that's not for you, you want to take it a step further, just use egg whites. Carrots, you can slice them. I found that just for my busy life, it's easier to go with shredded carrots. Dogs love them. And parsley. So this is curly parsley. This is actually really important. Parsley is really good for your dog. And if your dog is not dealing with a kidney disease diagnosis, flat leaf parsley is actually fine. But if your dog is dealing with a kidney disease diagnosis, you want to go for a curly leaf variety. I break all of that down in my blog post. I'm not going to go over that today, but the link is below. So if you want to really read into the herbs and the differences, you can check that out there. All right, what's next? Oh, okay, here we go. So right here, let's talk about the protein, the key protein besides the eggs, and it's the meat. So I just browned up some ground sirloin. You could actually use ground white meat turkey. You could use ground chicken. You could use ground pork as long as there's no flavorings, okay? Whatever is up to you. These are all great choices for your dog. What else? Oh, lastly, oil. This is actually a really good quality olive oil. You could use safflower oil or an omega-3 oil like 369 blend. All of those are wonderful and really good for your dog. All right, so let's start assembling. And as I'm assembling, I will talk to you about the different equipment and utensils that we use to create it, because doing this for a year and a half, I've created some shortcuts for myself that make it a little easier. So the base recipe on our site for easy homemade dog food, it makes a really small batch. So if you have a small dog or you have one dog, it's probably gonna work really great. And when I developed that recipe, I was only feeding it to Hooch at the time. So I have had to bump up my portions considerably because Hooch is 80 pounds and Rebel is 40 pounds. So that means I'm feeding quite a bit of food to dogs a day. So I actually make big batches a couple times a week, and I store them in what's called a Cambro. Restaurants use these a lot. You can get them on Amazon. I'll put a link in my blog post. But then this way you just store these in the fridge, or another option is to mix everything together and individually portion it and freeze it. If you have a smaller dog and you want to make smaller batches. But if you have a big dog like me, you're going to need something like this to store their food in. And they're going to go through it pretty quickly because unlike kibble that has been baked at high temperatures and condensed down to small portions, you're going to want to feed your dog 1 cup per 10 cups of weight. So my dog that's 80 pounds, he eats 8 cups of food a day. That's a lot of food. So you're going to need a big container. All right, so let's start building and we'll talk about everything. All right, the first thing that I'm gonna put in is a little bit of the grain in the bottom. Now, like I said, if your dog is in the beginning of a kidney disease diagnosis, like stage 1, or you've got a super healthy dog and you're just making them a homemade dog food, which recipe is great for that too, go with a brown rice, or you can actually also use quinoa. Quinoa is really good for dogs. It actually has a lot of anti-inflammatory properties. And I use it with Hooch a lot, even though it's not in this recipe. I'm working on an anti-inflammatory recipe because he jumped in my truck for the first time in years a couple weeks ago after eating an anti-inflammatory recipe I've been working on for a few months. So I want to share it too. He's a happy guy these days. Okay, so little rice in the bottom. I always add in my oil in layers. And I break down the importance of all these ingredients in the blog post. And so you can look there. There's a lot of resources for dogs on our website that you can find. Okay, so shredded carrots are going in. Carrots are like candy. I wish you could see. Can you see? Hi, buddy. Hooch is down here next to me now. He knows I'm making his food. All right. Let's put it in. Drizzle in a little bit more of the oil. Okay, so let me talk about my Instant Pot. It is my favorite friend for making dog food. It literally lives on my counter. If you don't want to have one of these, you will need to make your hard-boiled eggs and your rice on the stove. But with the Instant Pot, it has a rice setting, which is wonderful. And for me, it cooks in about 12 minutes. Quinoa is a 1-minute cook time, so that's pretty cool too. And then also, it's really good for hard-boiled eggs. So when you're using an Instant Pot for hard-boiled eggs, you can do as many as you want, and you just pop this down in the insert with a cup of water underneath, and they cook in about 5 minutes time, which is incredible. So, my hard-boiled eggs. Now, there were a lot of questions on our site. This recipe that I'm making today has almost 300 comments on it, and that's a lot. And there's a lot of questions about, people are cooking for their dogs and they're wanting to know how to incorporate protein, how to incorporate things like calcium back into their dog's diet. They're really concerned about it. And so I wanted to make sure that I shared a little tip with you too about the best way and the easiest way and the most affordable way that I know to incorporate calcium back into your dog's diet when you're making a diet of 100% human food for your pup. So I'm peeling the eggs, but also what I'm going to do after this is I'm going to utilize these shells. I don't like to throw anything away in my kitchen. These eggshells are full of protein, and if you were to order like a calcium powder from Amazon, they're over $20 a jar, and it is literally just ground up egg whites, or eggshells, I'm sorry. Not egg whites, we're gonna use those in the recipe. Okay, so let me get these and then we'll chop them up. So here's, I wanna show you. Once you have your eggshells and they're all peeled, just save them. I saved mine over the course of a week. I just washed them really good. Like these boiled ones, you don't even have to do that because they're already pretty sterilized. Sometimes if I have a whole bunch of eggshells, I'll pop them in the dehydrator for like a couple hours. Just, you wanna make sure that you kill any bacteria that might live on them. And then what I do, told you I was gonna give you my secrets. I keep all of the sterilized eggshells in a big bag on top of my fridge. And then every couple months, I blend it up in the blender. Now, I do have a special blender cup for this because I found that these are really sharp and I feel like they really kind of messed up one of my blender crafts. So you might want to use a cheaper blender for this. But you could also just whack them in the bag really, really good with like a rolling pin and get them to this consistency of a powder. But this is liquid gold. Oh, well, powdered gold is what it's gonna be. Because what you do now, this is a calcium supplement. This is that $24 little jar from Amazon that you can make at home just by sterilizing eggshells, grinding them up in your blender, and then you can look up the weight for your dog, but mine is like, I think we put a teaspoon a day in Hooch's food. He's 80 pounds. And then we just mix it in. But there you go, free calcium supplement. You can also incorporate turnip greens into your dog's food, just like a frozen bag of turnip greens. You can add it into here. Turnip greens are full of calcium and really good for your dog. Okay, so we're gonna chop this up. And my dogs know when it's dog food day. Like, they know. They see these Cambros come out, they see the Instant Pot go on the counter, they see like little bags of carrots, a little bag of rice, and they're like, oh yeah, it's go time, it's go time. I'm their best friend all day. They literally cry for this food. It's the most ridiculous thing you've ever seen. Okay, let's layer this in. I honestly think this is really pretty once it gets all built up in the Cambro. It's super pretty. Okay. There we go. Again, hit it with the oil. This helps too because as it sits in the fridge, like I make 2 of these at a time, so one of them inevitably sits in the fridge layered. It helps when we go to shake it to mix it all. The oil kind of keeps everything nice and moving around in there. Okay, let me wipe off this surface and then we'll move on. So next I'm gonna add another layer of the rice, and I just continue to layer like this, adding in the oil. Both my dogs are over here now. You hear the little tip taps. Another layer of rice. One of our dogs is completely deaf. Her name is Rebel. She was born deaf. Oh, that's her. So she likes to talk like that. She doesn't really sound like a dog either very often. And when she does, it sounds kind of scary. But you gotta shh. She talks with hand signs. But I told you, I'm making the food and they're like coming in hot for it. Okay, let's put in the parsley. I'm only going to use half of this bunch in this container because, like I said, I'm making a double batch. So once we quit filming this, I'm going to go make the second Cambro. But I was trying to keep it as straightforward as possible. Oh, Bebel. We have like 800 different nicknames for our dogs. She's Rebel, Bebel, and Bebs. Now she was only on kibble. We adopted her at 4 months old, and we started immediately transitioning her. We did keep puppy kibble, high quality puppy kibble, as part of her diet for the first year, but we were just supplementing, and that was okay with our vet. They know. Okay, so I probably should have said this in the beginning, but I do say at the beginning of my blog post, I'm not a vet. I did work with the advice of my vet. I believe that you should always include your vet on decisions. But I'm just a super passionate pet owner. And I never thought I would be one to like make food for my dogs. I think some people just think like I've lost my mind, but it's very clear to us. You know, we were given 3 to 6 months left with Hooch, and that was just, it felt unacceptable. And I was just like, anything to buy us time and to also improve his quality of life while he was with us. And now we've had, I mean, over 18 months with him. So the effort is worth it because we got extra time. You don't always get that, you know? My husband worked at a vet when he was in college, and he said that kidney disease diagnoses run rampant there. So this can help a lot of people. It already has. It's a really popular recipe on our website. We get lots of comments about it, lots of questions about it. Let me throw this away real quick. Let's see. Okay, what's next? Layer in a few more carrots. This dog food is super colorful. It's almost like those, you know, those farmer's dog food that you see on like Instagram or whatever, the farmer dog, I don't even know what they're called. Those services are super expensive, way more expensive than this. And then you also have the added issue of like the shipping and stuff like that. That just really bothers me. It's environmentally not the friendliest. So this is easier, better on the environment. I know exactly what's going into it for my dogs, which is important for me. I'm draining off the fat. You could definitely run it through a strainer and make this a much quicker process. But I do love the way it looks all layered in the fridge. It makes me really happy. Shaking it all up, it gets a little, like the container gets murky. But when it's all layered up like that, it looks really pretty. It's like a kaleidoscope. I wish you could see. Both dogs are literally just laying here. Hooch was not like an adventurous eater when we started this diet either, I should say. He had never really had table scraps. I was pretty against it. And so he wouldn't even eat something if it fell on the floor. So the first time we gave him this, he was like, wait, what? What's happening? What do you want me to eat? That came off of your thing. I don't know if I should touch it. But then when he did, it was like a game changer. He just immediately like started loving meals. Now this dog, one of my dogs, both of them, their favorite snacks is apples. So every morning they wake up and for breakfast, they both have an apple. I just cut the core and the seeds out. Obviously, you can't eat that, neither can they. And then I slice them up an apple and toss it in their bowl. Some mornings we put some plain Greek yogurt in there for added protein. They love that little doggy yogurt bowl. And there's some calcium in the Greek yogurt too. And then he loves this food. So I find that he's a much more adventurous eater with other ingredients. Dogs can eat things like melon as much as they want. Really, it's really good for them. And then we'll add in, this is pretty much the basic recipe from the website right here. I mean, this is it. It's eggs, it's carrots, it's rice. Again, you could use brown rice if you have a dog that's not in a stage 4 kidney disease diagnosis. White rice is because we're trying to make processing food as easy on the kidneys as possible. And when it has to break off the husk or work through the husk on the outside of the kernel of rice, is problematic for the kidneys. It makes it overwork. So, Bebosh. Sorry, it's her food. Anyway, where was I? Right, so you got the rice, you got the carrots, you got the ground meat, which I told you is completely customizable based off of your preferences and your dogs. I mean, some people, their dogs like ground chicken. My dogs cannot eat chicken. Chicken is on the allergy list for dogs. There is a list of allergies for dogs. It's on the website. You can check it out. There's like a top 5. Chicken really bothers some dogs. Bothers mine, so they don't get it. They do sometimes get turkey though. Anyway, let's talk about some other things that you can mix in. So I told you that, you know, my dogs like turkey. They like all these things I sub out sometimes, but they really love blueberries. And blueberries are really great. They're easy to store, especially frozen. I just put frozen ones in. And these are the wild blueberries. They're super high in antioxidants. So for Hooch, with his arthritis, just being older, it's really good for him. And it's super good for Rebel. They both have the most luxurious coats you have ever felt. They just are so soft. Okay, so what else? What else? Oh, this is one of their favorites. You see it? It's just a bag of frozen green beans. Honestly, yeah. I used to use frozen peas. I don't anymore because I've uncovered some research that while they are incredibly healthy and good for dogs of all kinds, dogs with kidney disease sometimes have an issue with green peas. So we just swapped out for frozen green beans. I layer that in there. I put a little bit more of that oil of choice on top. Remember, I'm using a good olive oil. You can use safflower oil. I can't say that one. Or an omega 369 oil. That's fine too. I'm going to just store it this way in the fridge. I usually make 2 at a time. That buys us 3 days. So every 3 days I do make food. I could make more. I could freeze it. I just choose not to because I'm in the kitchen all the time. But you could absolutely make this a once a week kind of situation, depending on the size of your dog. If you have a much smaller dog and you only have one dog, you're not going to need to make as much food as I do. So now that we have this tub here, I do want to show you, we get a lot of questions about, in our first dog food video, I actually prepared a bowl of the dog food on the video, and everybody asks what I was using and what I was putting in it. So I just wanted to walk you through that here, so I had a place to direct people in the future. Okay, so just like us, your dogs do not get all of their vitamins and nutrients from one place. They need extra vitamins and nutrients just like we do. Just like you take a multi-day vitamin, your dog should too. So when I was researching, this is one of the first products that I found when we were working Hooch through his kidney disease diagnosis. This is the multivitamin that we use every day, every time we feed our dogs. It's called Dog Greens. I order it off Amazon. I have it affiliate linked below. I have used this religiously every day for over 18 months, and I will not bend. I will not change. This is the one thing that never fluctuates. This Dog Greens is made with organic and wild harvested ingredients, and it's a plant-based vitamin and mineral blend. So let me read to you what's in it. So it has organic barley grass, organic wheatgrass, organic alfalfa, organic kelp, organic Irish moss, spirulina, and organic chlorella. Chlorella, CHLORELLA. I can't say that one, but it's okay. Anyway, so it's a half a teaspoon. There's like a sick pet dosage and a dosage for like a healthy pet. So I started with the sick pet dosage with Hooch, and now we're maintained on a healthy pet dosage. So that for him is a 1/4 teaspoon per 10 pounds of weight per meal, twice a day. So some in the morning with his little apples and his Greek yogurt, whatever, and some in the evening. The next thing that we do, and this is Rebel specific, she sometimes has a little stinky syndrome. I don't even want to get into it in a food video, but we tried a lot of things. Sometimes we put pumpkin in her food when she has an anal gland problem.
But the thing that I found the most that works the best for her is this Glandex product, also available from Chewy.com or from Amazon. This one's really great because they do have a pumpkin-based product. If your dog has a kidney disease diagnosis, pumpkin-based product is the way to go. Get the chews. Get the Glandex pumpkin chews. If your dog does not have a kidney disease diagnosis, this one's great because it is a beef liver powder. So it has some of the vitamins and minerals in it that she doesn't get otherwise. She needs it. She's growing. Organ-Mate's really great for your dog if your dog does not have a kidney disease issue. So that's Rebel specific, not for Hooch. If your dog with kidney disease has anal gland issues, they have a pumpkin-based product. Okay, last thing that I sprinkle on my dog's food in that video is actually CBD. The company that I really liked is no longer in business, so I actually haven't been using that. But Hooch does have elevated liver levels on his last blood panel. We knew that he had some other health issues going into the kidney disease diagnosis, but honestly, the vet was like, the kidney disease diagnosis is going to take him out long before these others are a problem. And when I took him back a few weeks ago, she was like, oh, wow. She was like, well, now we've got no signs of kidney problems. She was like, but you know, those elevated liver numbers were there. So I've started researching again, just like I did before. And now I'm including a milk thistle supplement. It just supports liver health. And I just squeeze a little dropperful over his food at night. And, you know, I'll see in 6 weeks if it helps with his blood work, and I'll let you know. I'll put my results on thismessours.com. That's what I always do. We have a little section on the website called the Doghouse, and so you can go there, and we've researched all sorts of ingredients. We have researched all sorts of different recipes. We're trying them on our own dogs. We're, you know, conferring with our own vet. So we're sharing everything with you because this lifestyle has completely changed our lives and given us more quality time with our dogs than we could have ever imagined before. So that's it. I hope this answers some questions. I hope you love cooking for your dog as much as you love cooking for your people. I know I do. And sometimes I actually like cooking for my dog a little more. They're never picky. They never complain and they always eat the same thing. They don't care. They'd be happy with this every day of the week. Have a good one. If you have any questions, drop them below.